laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Christmas time, the holiday season, a time of merry confusion and festive excitement, long shopping lines and short tempers. Stores are crowded, offices close early, highways become congested with drivers on shopping sprees and families traveling to be with friends and relatives. This Christmas, like any Christmas, the Highway Patrol went to extra lengths to curb traffic accidents and prevent holiday tragedies. But unfortunately, all tragedies cannot be prevented with traffic controls.
Laura? I'm home. Laura? Julie? Where is everyone? Julie? Ted, dear, I've tried, I really have, but it just won't work. Julie and I have gone to my sister's in Silver Shores. Please, Ted, don't ask us to come back. Not yet anyway. Not till you and I are able to talk sense to each other and mean what we say. I'm sorry, Laura. Some Christmas.
To find us if we're not home.
We'll put Aunt Sue's address on the letter, Julie.
Will he bring me a real live dog?
Let's hope so. You'll be sure and tell him about it in your letter.
I know all about that, Sue, but when did Laura talk to you? Well, then she couldn't have left here very long ago. She didn't expect to drive all night with Julie in the car, did she? Oh, I see. Well, she didn't say which motel she was stopping at, did she?
I wish Daddy was with us. He said he'd take me to see Santa.
I know, dear, but Daddy's been so busy.
Daddy's always busy. Do you still love Daddy?
Yes, of course I do, honey. But, well, Daddy's so busy. He works so hard. He's away so much. He doesn't know how much we miss him.
I miss him right now. I don't think I'll like it at Aunt Sue's.
Well, maybe he'll miss us this time, huh?
No, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Now, don't tell her anything. Just forget I even called. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Sue. Right. Goodbye.
Evening, ladies.
Good evening. I see you have a vacancy.
Yes. Just the two of you?
Yes.
Suppose Daddy meets us here, Mommy.
He won't be meeting us, Julie. Just the two of us. Twin beds if possible.
Well, yes, sir. You just drive over to Cottage 8. Most places call them cabins, but we call them cottages. Sounds more dignified and respectable. It's my wife's idea. She's all just full of dignified and respectable ideas. It's good for business, too.
Thank you.
Mommy, If we can go see Santa, we'd be sure he'd get my list.
We'll mail it first thing in the morning, special delivery. And he'll be sure to get it in time for Christmas, okay? Now you stop your fretting and go to sleep.
It isn't even dark out.
Well, it will be dark the minute you shut your eyes. You try it. Now you go right to sleep so we can get an early start in the morning, hmm? Because we've got a long drive ahead of us. Good night, dear.
Night, Mom.
Missing juvenile report on line 1, Dan.
Okay, thanks. Matthews, go ahead. So a kid is lost. What about this? Christmas time, they get lost all the time in department stores. What's this? When? What time? All right, I'll tell you what. I'll switch you to communications. You give them a description. We'll send out an APB. Now tell the mother to stay exactly where she is. Here, we'll be there as soon as we can.
Looking for Mrs. Spade?
That's right. Where is she?
Right over there in Cottage 8.
You run this place?
You bet. 14 years in this one spot. Clean, respectable, and dignified. Never a speck of trouble here until now. Oh, it's a terrible thing. Bad for business, too.
Stick around. We might want to talk to you later.
Yes.
Mrs. Spade?
Yes.
This is Sergeant Corey. I'm Dan Matthews, Highway Patrol.
Come in, please come in. Is there any news about Julie?
No, just a report you sent in. We want some more details. When did you find she was missing?
Oh, this morning about 6 o'clock when the alarm went off. She was sleeping right here in this bed last night, and when I woke up this morning, she was gone. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, I can see her clothes are still here.
Yes, all but her coat and her slippers. Oh, she's just getting over a cold, too.
Mrs. Spade, where were you headed? On this trip, I mean.
Well, to Silver Shores. My sister lives there. We were going there for Christmas.
And Mr. Spade,
Well, he's at home in town.
for the holidays?
Well, he's been very busy. He's been terribly busy, and he hasn't been able to get away at all this year.
What sort of work does he do?
Well, he's an architect. A very good one. He's working on a large project for the city right now, and, well, he hasn't had much time for anything.
How old is your daughter?
Just 6, 2 months ago.
Her father, he hasn't got time to be with her, not even for Christmas.
Well, Ted's worked a long time for this opportunity, and, well, I'm afraid Julie's used to not having Ted around.
What do you mean used to it? You having trouble in the family, something that might make Julie want to run away from home?
Julie wouldn't run away, Mr. Matthews. I know she wouldn't. She just wouldn't run away.
Corey, call headquarters. Get a couple of lab men out here. Alert all the roadblocks. Get in touch with the sheriff's posse. We'll need them to help cover the countryside.
Okay, Dan.
She can't be too far away, can she, Mr. Matthews?
Well, there's a lot of open country around here, and we don't know what time she disappeared.
But she's so little. A 6-year-old can't cover much ground.
She might have had help.
In a matter of minutes, the area around the motel was checked thoroughly for physical evidence. While the holiday road checks were ordered to examine all cars and hold any suspicious characters, the search party was organized. And with the aid of a sheriff's posse, walkie-talkies, and jeeps, the open terrain was scoured for clues of the missing youngster. All persons in and around the motel were questioned for leads. The manager came up with a big one. He had seen a car parked across the street from the motel for about an hour, between 3 and 4 a.m.
Dan. Excuse me. 3240 just checked in. They picked up the girl's father at a road check 14 miles south of here.
He's supposed to be working in the city. Which way was he headed?
Toward the city. And his car's the same make and color as the one the manager saw last night.
I'd have him pick him up and take him to headquarters.
Any news yet, Mr. Matthews?
Mrs. Spade, I'd like to ask you a question. Why aren't you traveling with your husband?
Well, I told you, he's working.
Did he have a reason to follow you here?
Follow me? I don't understand. You don't think Ted had anything to do with...
I don't know. Has there been trouble between the two of you? Because I don't think it's right for a woman to leave her husband and take her child away from home on Christmas Eve.
Well, I told you he's been busy. Well, and even if we did have problems, I don't see what they'd have to do with...
It's very important to the case. If you've had trouble, it has a direct bearing on the case. Now, look, Mrs. Spaeth, lose your pride for a minute. I'm not trying to write a gossip column. I'm trying to find a missing juvenile who happens to be your daughter. So tell me the truth right now.
Well, it's true. Ted and I have been having some difficulties, but we spend so much time away from home at his office or traveling. He just seems to forget he has a family. We thought we'd give ourselves a chance until after the holidays anyway, but it just didn't work out. Yesterday, for instance, he promised he'd be home by noon. Take Julie to see Santa Claus. We've waited for hours, Mr. Matthews. He didn't even call to say he'd be late.
Julie had good reason to run away.
No, Julie wouldn't run away. I know that.
Your husband, do you have any reason to come here and take her?
No. At least I don't think so. Oh, I don't know, Mr. Matthews. I don't know much of anything anyhow.
Dan. One of the men in the field just brought this in. Child's handkerchief.
Where'd he find it?
In a ditch about halfway up that hillside.
Yeah. Mrs. Spade.
Yes?
Did Julie have a handkerchief, or did she carry anything with her?
Yes, she had some with little elephants on them, and she had some others with the merry-go-round design. Why?
Like this?
Yes, that's Julie's. Where'd you find it? Well, it's Julie's.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no, wait a minute. These spots. What are these spots, Mr. Matthews? They look like blood.
We won't know. The lab will have to tell us.
It's blood, isn't it?
One day before Christmas, but no carols were being sung at the Brentwood Motel, for Julie Spaeth was still missing. And so far, only one clue had been found: a child's handkerchief, trimmed with fairy tale decorations and blood. The patrol car took the handkerchief to the crime lab to be analyzed. At Highway Patrol headquarters, the missing girl's father was being held for questioning.
Spade, I'm sorry to have to hold you like this.
So am I. I don't exactly enjoy being kept under guard for no reason at all.
There's a very good reason. Your daughter Julie is missing.
Missing? But I thought she was with Laura.
She was late last night or early this morning, but she's gone now.
And you think I had something to do with it, said it?
By the looks of you, I'd say you were up all night. We know that your car was parked between 3 and 4 this morning in front of the Brentwood Motel. Now, this needs some explaining. What do you say we start at the beginning?
Well, I got home about 6 o'clock last night. Found a note from Laura, my wife, telling me she'd taken Julie and gone to her sister's.
What, for a visit?
Not exactly. She was leaving me. We'd been building up to something like that for a long time, but I didn't think she'd do it now with Christmas and everything. First, I was sore. I called her sisters and found out she'd left a short time before and was planning to stop at a motel overnight. So I thought I could catch up with her, find her, make her come back to me, at least make her bring Julie back to me.
How did you find your wife?
I spent the night checking the cars parked at motels along the highway. Finally found her at the Brentwood Motel.
What did you do about it?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. By that time, all the anger was gone out of me, and I felt like an idiot. I was ashamed of myself. Ashamed of the way I'd treated Laura and Julie. I sat there, parked in front of that motel, I don't know how long, trying to get up the courage to go in and ask her to forgive me, take me back. What's the use? I couldn't do it.
What's the matter? You got too much pride?
Maybe. The way it looked to me then, Laura and Julie would be better off without me. It's better having no husband, no father at all, than one that's never around. So I drove around till the sun came up. Then I headed for home.
All right, Mr. Spade, let's go.
Matthews, is there any word about it? Hello, Ted.
Hi, Laura. You all right?
Is there any word about that handkerchief, Mr. Matthews? Any word about Julie?
Nothing yet. We're doing everything we can.
What's this all about anyway, Laura? Did Julie run away or what?
I wish I could make some sense out of it, Ted. I can't. All I know is if I hadn't been such a little fool and run away, all of this wouldn't have happened.
You can't blame yourself for that. But I still don't understand how you could even begin to suspect me of kidnapping my own daughter.
You were combing the highways all night looking for your wife. When you found her, you didn't have guts enough to tell her how you felt. You wanted your wife back, but your pride got in the way. You could have even kidnapped your own daughter.
Laura, do you believe that?
No. But I would like to believe what Mr. Matthews just said about you hunting for me, wanting me back again. Is that true, Ted?
Dan. The lab report's in on that handkerchief. It's blood, all right. Dog blood.
Dog blood?
On Julie's handkerchief?
That's right. The lab checked it through twice to be sure.
It's funny. That's all she's been talking about this Christmas. A dog. A real live dog.
Check the dog pound, see if any strays are around. Maybe Julie decided to adopt one.
I'll call him.
Mrs. Spade, Julie see a dog around here last night?
No. The only dog she cared about was the one Santa was going to bring her.
Yeah. I was supposed to take her to see Santa Claus yesterday so she could ask for the dog she wanted.
But you didn't take her?
No. Same old routine. My drawing board became more important than my family.
She had a letter, all about the dog, ready to mail to Santa Claus.
Was it mailed?
No, it's inside on the... It was right here, so she wouldn't forget it this morning. Now it's gone.
She could have gone out early this morning to mail it and gotten lost.
Oh, it didn't have a stamp. Julie knew that.
She could have delivered it herself personally, you know.
Santa Claus?
Now, look. She's 6 years old. She believes in Santa Claus. She wants a dog. What would you do? Corey! How far is Twin Lakes from here?
4 or 5 miles.
All right, get some members of the search party together. I think Santa Claus is our man.
Send.
Get him together, will you?
Mr. Matthews.
What?
Is there anything I can do to help? I feel sort of useless.
You stay here with your wife.
But I feel that I'm to blame for this if there was something I could do to help find Julie.
You stay right here. By the way, if you see Santa Claus, tell him I'm looking for him.
Unfortunately, Santa Claus was in many places at once on Christmas Eve, but no clue to the whereabouts of Julie Spaeth could be found.
Thanks very much. Merry Christmas. Sergeant Corey, you checked all the Santa Clauses?
Hard to say, Dan. The men are still out rounding them up.
All right, bring a car around. One of these Santas got to be the real thing.
What did you say?
I said bring a car around.
Hello, Santa. I've been looking for you all over everywhere.
Looking for me?
Aren't you Santa Claus?
Oh, why, sure. Sure I am. How long have you been looking for me, young lady?
A long time. I found this puppy, but I had an awful time finding you. Can you fix his foot for him?
Well, why have you been looking for me?
I had to bring you my letter, didn't I?
Oh,
It hurts.
what?
His foot.
Well, come on, let's go inside.
Now, let's sit right here. There's your doggy. Now,
Santa, I'm hungry.
well, you just wait right here. What's your name, young lady?
Julie,
You like soup, Julie?
sometimes.
Well, I'll bet you'll like this soup. Yes, sir, this is good soup. Give some to the doggy. Yeah. You know, my mother made that soup.
Thank you. I didn't know you had a mother.
I certainly do. My mother's a sergeant.
A what?
A sergeant. She makes all the soup here at the mission.
It's good.
Now, tell me about your mother. Does she know where you are? Where is your mother?
Mommy's at the motel, I guess. And I guess Daddy's at home or at his office. He's always at his office. Santa, I know just what I want for Christmas.
You do?
Mommy and Daddy together.
Well, how can I fix that when I don't even know where you live?
You don't know? You forgot?
Well, I mean,
Santa Claus, you know where little boys and girls live, but you forgot where I live. Cause I live so many places and no place at all.
forgot. Me? Who says I forgot? Why, all I have to do is call my office and ask my assistant to read your address from my record book. Now, you just wait right here, honey. I'll be right back. I gotta get some change.
Hold it, Santa.
Are you a police officer?
Highway Patrol. I'd like to ask you some questions.
Well, I'd like to ask you some questions. I was just on my way to call you. I've had a little girl on my hands for
Where is she?
inside. Looks like she's lost or something.
What's her name?
She says it's Julie. I've been trying to find out where she lives. Finally, I thought I'd better call you people.
We've been looking for her since 7 o'clock this morning. Why didn't you call sooner?
She just got here. But she's all yours now.
I'd like to have you come along with us.
What for? I haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, I know that.
But this is Christmas Eve, and I'm Santa Claus. I got a big job to do.
This is part of it. Do you mind?
Laura? Laura, have something to eat.
Ted, I'm so glad you're here. I don't think I could have lasted it this long alone.
You're not going to be alone anymore. They'll find Julie. They've got to. Then you're going to have trouble getting rid of me.
Sounds good. Too good, Ted. You just can't give up your work.
No, and I can't give you up either. We'll figure it out. We have to.
If only we knew about Julie, if she's all right, or...
Julie.
Julie! Daddy, I didn't know you were here.
Darling, come here.
Well, I guess I better be going. Lots more to do tonight. Lots to do. Lots to do.
Mommy, can't Santa stay with us? His mother's a sergeant.
Oh, of course he can, darling. He can stay with us forever and ever and ever if he wants to.
Now, don't you go running away again, young lady. You stay right here and take care of your mom and daddy.
I won't run away again, Santa. Not now, not ever.
Good. Then I guess I can go now.
Hey, wait a minute. How'd all this happen? Who are you anyway?
Who am I? Who am I? Huh.
Bye, Santa.
Oh, yes. Merry Christmas. How'd that sound, huh?
Oh, that was fine. Come on, get in. I'll drive you back to town.
No, thanks. I've got my own means of transportation.
Okay. story next week is a very unusual one. We hope you'll be with us. Until then, remember, it isn't the car that kills, it's the driver. This is Bradley Crawford saying see you next week.
Call the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Highway Patrol has at its command an efficient communication system and, of course, motorized equipment that can equal or excel the speed of the fleeing criminal. Knowing this, the calculating type of lawbreaker leaves highway robbery to the more reckless amateurs of the criminal fraternity. Bud Merrick and Jack Kirch were exceptions. Their third carefully planned robbery in the state was scheduled for the morning of the first Tuesday in September, after a Labor Day weekend.
Partner's out back. He'll take care of you.
You'll do.
Sorry, I gotta get into town to the bank. Charlie back there will take care of you. Just go out the back door there and you...
I'll take that. Now turn around and walk back there.
Instruct all units on Highway 21 to check all motorcycles headed east from Crestview Summit. Order 3212 to the intersection of 21st and Garvey. Yeah, that's right. Johnson, come here. Two guys on motorcycles held up a garage. They headed east.
Motorcycles.
That's right.
Could be the same pair that pulled those other two jobs.
Happened about 5 minutes ago.
And Crestview Summit?
That's right.
Well, even going 70, they can't reach Garvey Road under 10 minutes. If our units get there
Now,
first...
wait a minute. Same thing happened last time. Now, you alert all units. Then we'll go out to the summit. I want to talk to Buckley.
Buckley?
He's the guy that was slugged, but he can still talk. Come on, let's go.
How'd it go?
No trouble.
Mr. Buckley, I'd like to go over a few points with you. You never saw these men before.
No, Mr. Matthews. Of course, I might have, but they was wearing goggles. It was hard to tell.
This guy that slugged you, how big do you think he was?
Oh, I'd say 5'11", maybe 180 pounds.
What about the other one?
A little taller, around 165 pounds.
Was there anything distinctive about the clothes they were wearing?
No, just about like anybody be dressed that works outside, except for the goggles.
On their jackets, was there any insignia?
No.
3 units checked in, no sign of the suspects. 3212 stopped one cycle at Garvey Road, had 2 people on it.
Did you hold them? Let me talk to them.
No, these weren't the suspects. It was a young Marine and his girl.
Oh.
We'll put out the descriptions you gave us. You might have to come to the office and check some pictures. Thanks very much, Mr. Buckley. Come on, let's go.
Well, that's not too bad for a morning's work.
Oh, I don't know. I read where 3 guys knocked off a bank and got away with $8 grand.
Yeah, you start knocking off banks, you'll have the FBI looking for us, along with every other guy that wears a badge.
All right, let's knock it off. I've got a deal here that could net us a couple of grand. This is a resort hotel, just off the main highway. Early Monday morning, we pull the truck off the highway onto this side road right here. And you ride down the highway to the hotel. That's about 5.5 miles. Leave your sickles at the entrance to the private road and walk up to the hotel.
On that ride up, be quicker.
Yeah, and noisier. We want the noise when you're coming out, not when you're going in. You'll be wearing sports clothes.
I see. Like we were guests.
Right.
Where do you pick us up?
Right here. Just off the highway.
And the patrol will be looking for 2 sickles headed south.
Wait a minute. Suppose no one sees us on the sickles.
Well, there'll be gardeners around the grounds, maybe an early golfer or 2. Somebody's bound to hear you pull out.
Here's the garage, right here at Crestview Summit. It's not much of a pattern, but it shows they're working south.
The jobs aren't too far apart, distance-wise.
Or time-wise either. And the way they're dodging our checkpoints show they know the terrain pretty well. Probably also the patrol's work schedule.
I don't see how we missed them. Motorcycle's pretty conspicuous, a lot more so than a car.
Yeah, but a car's got to stay with the highways. With a cycle, you can take the trails, cow paths, anything else. And they probably do.
This just came in. 2 men robbed the Del Amo Springs Hotel a few minutes ago. Got $2,500. Headed south on Highway 70.
On motorcycles?
Yeah, hotel caretaker saw them pull out. Same description Buckley gave us, only this time they were wearing sports clothes.
Oh, here's Del Amo. If they stay on 70, one of our units can intercept them. They might go east on 67 or west on 72. Notify all units to stop everything on 2 wheels.
The highway patrol was alerted and roadblocks set on all possible escape routes. But as the officers looked for everything on 2 wheels, the daring criminals and their motorcycles, hidden in the back of the truck, continued to pass safely through checkpoints.
$18.05, what's your 1020?
1805 at intersection of Highway 72 and Darrell Road.
All right, stop all. I repeat, stop all motorcyclists. Any doubt, hold for further interrogation. 10-4?
10-4.
In the last 8 hours, every motorcyclist has been checked clean.
They could be 200 miles away by now, unless they're hiding out.
Yeah, there's another possibility. These guys pull a job, and they roar away loud and conspicuous. That's the last anybody sees them.
Until the next job.
Yeah.
It beats me. We've had every unit on the alert for them.
Wait a minute. We've been on the alert for motorcycles, and only motorcycles. Oh, brother, did I make a mistake. You can hide a cycle in a panel truck or any other kind of a truck.
Well, in that case, it wouldn't have to go more than a couple of miles from the robbery point.
Yeah, we've been working in a small area. Have them check all passenger cars. Do you hear me? All passenger cars. These guys could switch to one. Somebody else could take the cycles away for them.
$2,500. A couple more jobs like this, and we can afford a vacation.
And I know just the place, an exclusive resort called the Del Amo Springs. How about that, Grayson? We stick up a joint and go back later as guests. Well, I was just kidding.
I know what's on Grayson's mind. He's already planning the next job.
The one you mentioned a few days ago? The big roadhouse just south of Del Amo a ways?
No. I think it's time we pulled a switch. If we keep working further south, it makes the trip back too far. I got a place in mind about 10 miles north of here, Broxton Hills.
There's no stores up there, not even a gas station. Who are we going to knock over?
Rich people.
Highway Patrol had no direct evidence of the means used by the bandits to escape the patrol's careful road checks, the repeated success of the criminals pointed to one strong possibility: that some other vehicle was employed to conceal the bandits and their motorcycles and enable them to elude capture. As another weekend approached, the Highway Patrol prepared a system of alternate plans in anticipation of another strike by the bandits.
We're pretty well covered from Moorfield to Barrington if they stick to their pattern.
And we expect them to hit some business place Monday morning, get the weekend take.
They hit the first gas station in the middle of the week. Let's not get in a rut by assuming what they will do. One of these guys is a slugger. Let's get him before they're wanted for murder.
All right, you got it clear now.
Right. 13457 Crown Road. Kirsch keeps the maid quiet while I make old man Weber open his safe.
And don't let him bluff you. He keeps 8-10 grand in the house at all times. That's besides his wife's jewels.
Are you sure that ex-chauffeur knows what he's talking about?
He's reliable. He's never given me a bum steer yet on all the jobs he's been fired from. And look, Merrick, no real rough stuff, see? Not until you get the cash in your hand. You understand?
Yes, I understand.
Right. Get going.
Sorry to bother you, lady, but there's been an accident down the street. May we use your phone to call the police?
Dispatch all available units to the Broxton Hills area. Stop and hold all motorcycles. Stop and hold all vehicles, passenger cars included. Trucks, everything. Yeah, that's right. All of them.
The motorcycle boys?
Yeah, the same ones. They got a new MO. They robbed a house on Crown Road. They got 5 or 6 canyons they can use to get out of there. Let's get up there.
Hi, Ed. Out of gas?
No, tank's full, Grady. Look, you see anybody on a motorcycle?
No. Something wrong?
Yeah, 2 men on cycles robbed a house up on Crown Road about 10 minutes ago. We're trying to get them before they get down out of the hills.
You really got a job in your hands. These roads up here are like a rat maze.
Telling me.
Well, hope you get them, Ed.
You seeing it, Grady?
Yeah, boy.
Took you so long?
We took the wrong turn, but we got it. Nearly 10,000 cash and all the jewelry.
Never mind that. Any trouble?
Well, I had to slug old Weber. Hey, there's a lineman up on that pole, and he's looking this way.
So what? Why should he be interested in us?
Come on, let's get out of here.
That's right. Yeah? Well, they load the cycles on a truck and head west on Dumont Canyon Road. Yeah, that's quite all right.
2150 to all units in the Broxton Hills area. Suspect loaded sickles in a truck. They're going west on Dumont Canyon Road. Third man is driving. 1321. Stay on Morningside Drive to Dumont Canyon Road and attempt to intercept. Warning, use caution. 10-4.
Suspect's truck turned off Dumont Canyon Road onto Fire Road, 200 yards east of Morningside Drive. I'm now pursuing suspects.
2150 to 1321. Keep the truck in sight, but don't rush him alone. We'll be with you in less than 2 minutes. 10-4?
10-4.
Truck can't outrun us on the Fire Road, and if it's barricaded, they're trapped.
I turned off to dodge a patrol car. Couldn't take a chance of getting stopped.
That telephone lineman. Of all the rotten breaks.
Let's get those sickles out of there fast.
One leads to the highway.
Maybe both. Maybe neither one.
If we pick a dead end, we're trapped.
They'll be busting through that barricade pretty quick.
Somebody's coming up from down there. We better take the left for it.
Wait a minute. No cop's car, it's a fire truck. All right, we're going to get a little professional advice. You guys keep your mouth shut and let me do the talking.
Hey, you fellas, just a minute. There's a no trespassing sign back at the barricade. Didn't you see it?
Yeah, but we thought that cable was just up there to keep the cars from blocking the road.
Well, it means everybody. One spark from those Sickles exhausts and this whole place could burn up.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I guess we just didn't think. Say, can you tell me which one of these roads leads down to the highway?
Well, this one will, but it's about 2 miles. Be quicker to go back the way you came.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Give me a hand.
Pick him up and toss him over there in the weeds.
We better get out of here. The cops will be here any minute.
Do what I tell you.
I'm going to take this fire truck right back to the barricade.
You going to try to run right through the cops?
Sure, this fireman's cap and jacket will get me through. Listen, you two guys take your sickles and go down this road. By the time I finish talking to the cops, they'll be looking for you every place but the right place. I'll meet you at the farm.
Does this road join a main road at the other end?
I don't know.
Chances are they don't either. This cable's got us locked in. We can't radio the fire station. We're on different frequencies. How far is the station from here?
4 miles up the road.
All right, shoot the lock off. You can get better accuracy than that. I come with a snub nose. Take cover. That metal's going to fly like shrapnel. go to the fire station. See if this leads to a main road. If we can't catch him, maybe we can block him.
Okay.
I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol. We're looking for 3 men on 2 motorcycles. Did you happen to see them?
Sure did. Just a minute ago, I told him to get off the fire road.
Did they keep going on this road?
Yeah. Back a ways down the road, there's a fork. Take the right fork. That'll lead you down into Fern Canyon Road.
Mountain Fire Patrol, engine number 26388.
How far down the canyon?
Well, that's hard to say.
Mountain Fire Patrol, engine number 26388.
Give me a rough idea. Perhaps I can get a couple of units to stop them.
Well, let's see.
Fireman Davis, engine number 26388. Check with your dispatcher.
Hey, call the fire station, will you? One of my men is there. I want to talk to him. Yeah. Let me use your cell. Come out of that car. Right now. Hands right over your head. High. 26388. The Mountain Fire Patrol. Face each other.
You only got us because we took the wrong road.
You did that a long time ago. All right, put him in. Next week's Highway Patrol story is a very unusual one. I hope you'll be with us. Until then, remember, it isn't the car that kills, it's the driver. This is Bradrick Crawford saying, see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Although any breach of law and order is the subject of immediate and vigorous action on the part of the Highway Patrol, the special target of any law enforcement agency is the criminal who has escaped detection over a long period of time. Such a case occurred on September 9th, when a holdup by a man identified only as the Polka Dot Bandit climaxed a series of unsolved crimes. After 4 weeks of intensive investigation, there was still no clue to the elusive criminal.
Get in. Get in the car. You want to live, don't you? Make one false move. Give me that bag. Put your hands on the wheel and keep them there. Now, you drive out as though nothing happened. Go about a mile down the highway before you stop. I'll be right behind you, and I'll kill you dead on a doornail if you don't do exactly as I say.
Yeah, what is it?
Teletype from upstate. The latest suspect in the case of the Polka Dot Bandit was a complete washout. The last holdup charged the Polka Dot was a month ago, and this suspect was in a Ventnor County jail that night.
Well, that's a fair country alibi. Where's that leave us?
Right where we came in 6 months ago. We've questioned over 30 suspects in that time and no takers. I'm beginning to lose patience.
Now, wait a minute. It's patience that's keeping Mr. Polka Dot out of prison. He's not greedy. Other hoods get successful, they start pressing their luck. Not this guy.
That's right. Sometimes his jobs are 4 to 5 weeks apart.
Yeah, and he's got no pattern or location. He's satisfied with a small take. We'll keep working on it.
Say, I wonder how he spends his time between jobs and what kind of a man he is.
Hurry up, Daddy. You're a slowpoke.
No, come on. Who's a slowpoke? I better beat you.
I beat you.
No, you didn't. I'm gonna get you. Oh, you thought you could beat me, did you?
Uh-huh.
Hi, we're home.
Good. Did you have a nice walk?
Great, but it made us hungry.
I'll give breakfast in just a few minutes. Was Daddy a good boy?
Oh, yes. I never even had to scold him once. But we saw a little bird that fell out of a tree.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I picked him up, and Daddy climbed the tree and put him back in the nest.
Well, your daddy was a nice man to do that.
Oh, it was nothing really. Any lad who can climb a tree would have done the same thing.
And the mother bird came along and just made an awful fuss. She thought Daddy didn't belong in the tree.
But Daddy survived.
But it won't much longer without something to eat.
All right. You go wash your little hands and face. We'll feed all of us in just a few minutes.
You hurry up now. Come in.
Hello, Keith.
What are you doing here?
I just stopped by to say hello.
Now look.
Who is it, dear?
Now, Sally, this is Ed Merchant, an old friend of mine. Ed, this is my wife.
How do you do, Mr. Merchant?
How do you do, Mrs. Tobin? It's a pleasure.
I'm all cleaned up, Mother.
Mr. Merchant, this is Debbie, our daughter.
I'm pleased to meet you, sir.
Hello, Debbie.
We're just about to have some breakfast. You'll join us, won't you, Mr. Merchant?
Well, thank you very much. It sounds like a very nice idea.
Come on, Debbie. You can help Mother. Excuse us, please.
Well, it's a nice house, Keith. Lovely wife and daughter.
What do you want?
I want to team up again. 10 years ago, when we worked together, jobs used to come off like clockwork. No big killings, but we made a living.
Then you decided to branch out.
Yeah. My first job alone, I got picked up. I just got out of prison 2 weeks ago, on parole. I need you, Keith. We can work together like we used to and make it click.
Not a chance in the world. Besides, I'm no longer in that business.
Oh? What business are you in?
I'm a salesman.
What do you sell? I can make things very unpleasant.
Don't you try to push me around.
Why, Keith, I'm not the type to push anyone around. I'm just trying to protect you and protect your family. Wouldn't it be awful if something happened to one of them?
Get out.
Okay. Will you give my apologies to Mrs. Tobin?
Get out.
I'll stop back again sometime. You might change your mind.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize how late it was. I just can't miss this appointment.
Debbie, Daddy's leaving.
Goodbye, Daddy.
Goodbye, honey. You look after Mother, huh? I won't be long.
Drive carefully.
Hello there.
Hello.
Where's Mother?
She went over to see Mrs. Riker. Do you know Mrs. Riker?
No, I don't.
She fell down a little while ago, and she can't walk very much.
Well, that's too bad. Tell me, honey, does Mother think it's a good idea for you to stay all alone like this?
I'm not alone. Sally Jane is with me.
Where's Sally Jane?
Right here.
Oh.
This is Pete Pete.
Why do you call him Pete Pete?
Daddy says he'd learn his name quicker if he heard it more often.
Daddy's a pretty smart man, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
Polka Dot Bandit.
Where?
Greenstone Mills. He got the manager of the Mills commissary as he's on his way to the bank with the weekend receipts.
What about roadblocks?
Set up, north and south of Greenstone Mills.
What's the time element?
Well, we got the call within 5 minutes of the holdup, and this time the victim gave us a good description of the bandit.
Polka dot mask, about 5'10", 170 pounds. Coat was brown tweed. Pin sticking in the left lapel. Brown slacks and brown shoes. How'd you get away from the scene of the crime?
On foot. Probably had a car stashed somewhere. We're checking.
All available units to the Gingrich Mountain area. I'm on my way now.
Sally? Debbie?
What did I tell you? You lied to me, Keith. You're not a salesman. You should find a safer place for your samples. Oh, I took the bullets out. I felt safer that way.
All right, what's the deal?
Half of what you picked up this morning and half of everything from here on out. And don't you try to stall me. I can get ugly, too.
Okay. I know when I'm licked. Here's the money. Where's your car?
Parked down the road a ways. Why?
I'll walk you down there. Sally might come back, and I don't want to explain things to her. Just a second.
All right, this is far enough. Let's make the split here.
I don't know why I should do this, Ed, but I'm going to give you one more chance. Now, you get out of my life, and don't you ever come back.
Although the finding of Merchant's body was a direct result of the search for the polka dot bandit, there was no reason to suspect a connection between the two crimes.
He doesn't answer the suspect's description.
His name is Edward F. Merchant. He's on parole, released from prison 2 weeks ago. There's his parole instructions. He shot at very close range with what appears to be a small caliber revolver. Oh, by the way, the medical examiner and ambulance are on the way.
What's an ex-con doing in this neighborhood?
That bothered me, too. The actual shooting took place on the road. His body was dragged over there. It must have happened just a few minutes before I drove past.
There's not too many houses in this area. I'll take Glenridge Road. Mr. Another you get here, you take Pine.
Right. $21.10 to $21.50. $21.10 to $21.50.
$21.50 by.
Located abandoned vehicle registered to Edward F. Merchant on temporary permit. Car was purchased 11 days ago.
Where's the car?
A little way south of where we found Merchant's body.
I'm on my way.
10-4.
I think it'd be wonderful to go to the lake, dear, but what do we tell the Harpers? They're expecting us this evening.
But, Sally, I've already promised Debbie we'd go. And how many times have you told me that I must not break promises to Debbie?
Okay. When you start quoting me to me, I quit. We'll go to the lake.
Found this in the glove compartment, an address on Glen Ridge Road.
224, Keith Tobin. I was just there. Tobin said he never saw Merchant.
Well, why did Merchant have Tobin's address in the car?
Let's find out.
I think that'll be enough for a few days.
Where's Debbie?
She's playing in the backyard. We'll pick her up on the way out.
I'll put these things in the car.
Well, now, if that's our suspect, we're in for trouble.
Sally, listen to me. There's some men coming to the door. They're going to ask if Ed Merchant was here this morning. Say no.
But, Keith...
Did you hear me? Say no.
Yes, Keith, I hear you.
Mr. Matthews, come in.
Thanks.
Mr. Matthews, this is Mrs. Tobin.
Mr. Matthews?
How do you do?
Mr. Matthews is with the Highway Patrol. He was here this morning asking some questions, but in the excitement of getting ready to go to the lake, I forgot to tell you.
You two live here alone?
That's right.
What about the little girl I saw in the yard?
That was our daughter, Debbie.
Oh, I see. Mrs. Tobin, this morning I asked your husband a question. Did he know an Edward F. Merchant? He said no. I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you know this man by name, or did you ever see him?
No.
What's your husband do?
He's a salesman.
What company?
He has his own sales agency, and he handles several different lines. Mr. Matthews, why are you asking all these questions?
We're looking for two men who might be in this area. This morning, one committed a robbery, the other a murder.
Murder?
We might be looking for one man who did both.
But why are you looking here? Why are you questioning us? Do we look like robbers? Does my husband look like a murderer?
Mrs. Tobin, we found a piece of paper with your name and address on it in the murdered man's car. Evidently, he was shot on his way here or murdered leaving the area. By the position of his car, it looks like he was leaving.
I don't care what you say. I don't care if he was coming or going. I know Keith, and I know he wouldn't have anything to do with this. Keith, tell this man that you know nothing about all this.
Well, of course I don't.
Satisfied?
Well, there's just one more question. What kind of a coat were you wearing this morning?
I'll answer that question. My husband has nothing to hide. He was wearing a brown tweed.
May I see the coat?
You certainly may. It's right here in the closet.
The victim of the robbery said the robber was wearing a brown tweed coat with a pin in the lapel.
Keith.
Hold it! Don't shoot! Get to the trunk of the car so we can't shoot or drive him into a wreck. Tobin, come out with your hands up.
Come and get me.
Tobin, don't shoot. Your little girl's in the trunk of your car.
You're lying. It's a trap.
I give you my word, we'll hold our fire, but get her out of there.
Debbie! Are you there?
Daddy! Daddy, I'm here!
Debbie, my baby, my baby.
Oh, Daddy, I'm so so scared.
It's all right, baby. Don't cry. It's all right, now.
What are you doing to my daddy? It was just a game. I was playing bandit. And Daddy taught me to hide. So what? Daddy, tell them it was only a game.
Please, can we go now?
Take him away. You'll be with us next week. Until then, remember, no matter how new, the safest device in your car is you. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Many persons are convicted of crimes on the basis of a positive identification by another person. Law enforcement agencies rely heavily on this type evidence. Early on the morning of August 10th, Mrs. Ethel Carey, owner of a motel, went about her usual routine of starting another day. A day in which she would find it necessary to positively identify her first visitor.
Where's the money?
No, I won't tell you.
Where's it hid?
I won't tell you.
Shut up.
Recovering from the attack, Mrs. Carey immediately placed an urgent call to the highway patrol. She stated that she had recognized the man who forced his way into her apartment, and that she could positively identify him as one of the guests now registered at the motel. Minutes later, officers Peterson and Bergen had apprehended the suspect, Roger Taylor, in his bungalow at the motel court.
Better take another look inside, see if you can find the hat and coat.
Yeah, okay.
Sit down, Taylor.
But I don't understand. I didn't do anything.
You do own a light trench coat and a hat, don't you?
Yes, I
Where
already
are
told. I don't know. I mean, I hung them in the closet last night. They should still be there. Why are you arresting me? I got a right to know.
I already told you. Attempted robbery and assault with a deadly weapon on Mrs. Carey. She's made positive identification. She recognized your hat and coat. You were wearing them when you checked into the hotel.
But I didn't do it. I swear I didn't. You gotta believe me.
What'd you do after you checked into the motel?
I went to bed. I was tired. I'd been driving all day. I didn't get out of bed until you woke me up.
What's your business, Taylor?
Grocery business. Own a small grocery in Bremerton, Washington. You can check that. Roger Taylor, that's my name. Lots of people know me. I'm on my vacation, driving to Baltimore to meet my wife. She's already there, visiting her mother. I couldn't get away from the store until now. You can check that, too.
We will. Watch him. Yeah, Mike?
It's clean. He must have got rid of the hat and coat.
Okay. Why'd you get rid of the hat and coat?
Why would I get rid of them? I tell you, I didn't do anything. Why would I get rid of my hat and coat if I didn't do anything?
Let me talk to Dan Matthews.
Matthews speaking.
Dan, on the motel beating, we picked up the identified suspect, Roger Taylor.
Good. Book him right away and wrap it up.
I would. A couple things don't add up.
What? Well, what makes you think so?
Two things. Why would he admit owning the hat and coat and then take the trouble of hiding them? Secondly, if he did do it, what's he doing here? He's had plenty of time to get to the city and get lost.
All right, see how he feels about a lie detector test. We might be able to save him a lot of trouble.
Okay, hold it. Still claim you're innocent?
Yes, I didn't do it. I wouldn't beat up an old lady. Ask anybody who knows me.
Would you take a lie detector test?
Lie detector? Yeah, I'll take a lie detector test. I'm not afraid of it. Why would I be if I didn't do it?
He'll take it. I'll bring him right into the office. Okay. Let's go. Hold it down.
You won't need me here, so I'll go back to the motel and keep looking for the hat and coat.
Right.
Come in.
Here he is, Roger Taylor.
All right, Mr. Taylor. Will you sit in this chair right here, please?
I want to run an R&I check on this.
All right, go ahead and do it. Left hand, please.
I thought a lie detector was bigger than that.
Well, some of them are.
It'll get me out of this, won't it? It'll know if I'm telling the truth.
If half our suspects are as truthful as this machine, our job would be real easy.
Then it'll prove that I'm innocent. When you know I'm telling the truth, I can go, huh?
Mr. Taylor, it's not quite that easy. This is not allowed as evidence in court. But I will tell you one thing. Whatever you say, it's usually a great help. It usually puts us on the right track. Is your name Roger Taylor?
Yes.
Where do you live?
Bremerton, Washington.
What is your business?
Grocery business?
Did you beat Mrs. Carey?
No.
Where is your wife?
In Baltimore, Maryland.
Did you try to rob Mrs. Carey?
No.
Time and again, Roger Taylor was questioned. Time and again, the suspect denied that he was guilty of the assault and attempted robbery of Mrs. Carey. After nearly 4 hours of interrogation, the contacts were removed from his fingers.
Oh, what did it say? Did it prove I was telling the truth?
Well, Mr. Taylor, there's no indication that you were lying.
I'm sure glad of that.
This came in on the teletype. Bremerton R&I says he has no record. Told the truth about the grocery store and the trip to Baltimore.
All right, Mr. Taylor, I'll be truthful with you. This test is all in your favor, but it doesn't get you off the hook. But I do think it warrants another visit to Mrs. Carey. Where is she, Pete?
Back at the motel. She refused to go to the hospital. Didn't want to spend the money. Guess she's pretty fussy about money.
Fussy, huh? All right, let's see how fussy she is about a lie detector. Find anything yet?
Not yet.
I will be inside. I'd like to talk to Mrs. Carey.
What for? What do you want to go bothering her for? She's already told you all she knows.
I want to talk to her anyway. Get the box, will you? What's your name?
Henry Carey. She's my aunt.
You live here?
Yeah, but I wasn't here when it happened, if that's what you're driving at.
Where were you then?
I was in town buying groceries at Clampett's store, and I can prove it.
Yeah. Tell your aunt I want to see her, will you?
What are you doing here? Henry, I told you not to let them in again.
I'm Dan Matthews, Mrs. Carey. I hate to bother you again. I'll make it as brief as possible.
What's he doing here? He ought to be in jail. What right have you to bring him in here?
Mrs. Carey, it's very important that we know for sure that Taylor's guilty. Now, take a good look at him. You might have been wrong on your identification.
No, I didn't make any mistake. I checked that man in last night. And he was wearing the same hat and coat when he forced his way in here with a gun. He tried to disguise his voice, but he couldn't fool me. Now, he's the one. I'm positive.
Okay, take him out. Mrs. Carey, we've had this man on a lie detector for 4 straight hours. The machine gives every indication he was telling the truth when he said he didn't do it.
I don't care about your lie detector test. It's no good as evidence anyway.
Do you know very much about lie detectors?
I know you can't believe them.
Suppose I prove to you that you can.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Mrs. Carey, you wouldn't want an innocent man to go to prison for a crime he didn't commit, would you?
Why, no, of course not.
Well, we're interested in finding the man who attacked you. You'll help us, won't you?
What do you want me to do?
Submit to a lie detector test.
You think I'm lying?
No, I don't think you're lying, but the machine will show whether you had any doubts about the identification.
You mean I could be lying and not know it?
Well, sometimes we hate to admit things to ourselves. Your nephew, Henry, he could help us with the test, and perhaps you could put us on the right track.
No, you don't. I don't have to take a lie detector test.
Maybe you've got a reason not to. Taylor wasn't afraid to try it. Maybe that's because he had nothing to hide.
I've got nothing to hide.
All right, fine. Then you'll help us.
Go on, Henry. I want to see the machine that can make me out a liar when I'm telling the truth. If it works for you, I'll try it.
All right, fine. Come over here. Sit in that chair. Oh, here. Write down any number between 1 and 5. Don't let me see the number you've written down. Let me have your hand. All right, now keep your hand spread like that. Say no to whatever questions I ask, even if I hit the number you've written down, right? Was it 4?
No.
1?
No.
Was it 3?
No.
2?
No.
Okay, the number was 3. Am I right?
Yes.
All right, Mrs. Carey. You're next. Now, let me have your left hand, please. And now keep your hand spread like that, please. Is your name Ethel Carey?
Yes.
You own this motel?
Yes.
Your nephew is Henry Carey?
Yes.
You were telling the truth when you identified Taylor as the man who beat you up?
Yes.
Following the usual procedure of asking unimportant questions and touching on the key question when least expected, the interrogation of Mrs. Carey continued for an hour, a shorter period of time than usually required because of her weakened condition, but long enough that a definite conclusion could be reached.
Well, the machine indicates that you're telling the truth.
Well, I guess that proves your lie detector can't be relied on. They both can't be telling the truth.
Yes, they can. The machine indicates that your aunt really believes that Taylor is the man she's telling the truth about, but she still might be wrong in her identification.
Dan, can I see you a minute?
I'll be right with you. Thanks very much for your cooperation, Mrs. Carey.
So you put him away where he belongs, as we can't go around tormenting people.
Thanks for your cooperation, too, Henry. What'd you find?
These. Fresh blood on the gloves. Found them down in back of Taylor's bungalow.
Can you identify these?
Looks like mine.
Where'd you buy this coat?
At home, Bob Jean's apparel store. That is, if it's mine.
It's yours.
I don't know how it got there. I didn't bury them. I swear it.
Well, there's not much more we can do here, Taylor.
Following the arrest of Roger Taylor, a routine questioning of other guests registered at the motel failed to turn up any new evidence in the attempted robbery and assault of Mrs. Ethel Carey. And then a man not previously questioned volunteered some information.
Oh, officer.
Yeah?
My name is Wilbur Morgan. I'm a guest here at the motel since yesterday. I stay here 2 or 3 days every month. I sell farm equipment. I just drove in a few minutes ago from making my calls, and I heard about what happened to Mrs. Carey. I saw the fellow you arrested.
Have you got something to tell us?
Oh, yes, I do. Maybe it'll help. It happened early this morning, about 7:30, I guess. I was just leaving to make my calls. Farmers get up early, you know.
Yeah, I know. What happened?
Well, I was passing the office building, going to my car. Wanted to smoke, but didn't have any matches, so I stopped this fellow and asked him for a light. He was wearing a light trench coat with a hat brim pulled down. Could have been the ones you dug up a while ago.
Did you get a good look at his face?
No, not a very good one. Like I said, he had his hat brim pulled down, but it could have been that fellow Taylor. Now, I'm not positive, but it sure could have been.
You didn't notice which way he went, did you?
No, not exactly, but it seemed like he was headed for the office. I was lighting up with a book of matches he gave me, and when I looked up, he'd gone.
Oh, he didn't take the matches back?
No. In fact, I think I have them on me. Oh, yes, here they are. Only one match left, but I guess...
Skylark Motel, Portland, Oregon. You don't mind if I keep these, Mr. Morgan?
Sure, you're welcome to them. I hope this is of some help to you.
I'll let you know. Don't go too far away. Might want to talk to you again. Here.
This doesn't help Taylor's case any. Portland, Oregon. Can't be more than a day's drive from his home in Bremerton.
Yeah, but I can't forget the fact that the detective said he was innocent. It's never been wrong, Pete. Not once.
The evidence was piling up against Taylor. Evidence that contradicted the suspect's statements and even the lie detector itself. The following morning, having been released on bail pending trial, Taylor made another appearance at the motel.
Taylor, you're supposed to be in jail.
I'm out on bail. I got to see Mrs. Carey.
What's going on here? Call the police, Henry. Tell him he's escaped.
It won't do any good. They just let him out on bail again. Now, you get out of here.
Why do you keep on lying? What are you trying to do to me?
They won't blame me for killing you when I tell them you came back and tried it again. Now, get out. Aunt Ethel, you've got to do it. You've got to put your money in the bank.
I'll take care of my own money. I'll keep it right here where I know it'll be safe.
But you're not safe. As long as Taylor is loose, you'll never be safe. He'll come back, and next time he'll kill you. I'll take it to the bank for you, Aunt Ethel, this afternoon.
All right, you can drive me in, but I'll carry the money myself.
Wilbur, we had the break of our lives. Taylor's out on bail. He can be our patsy again.
Again? You crazy. I should never have listened to you when you wanted me to turn the matches over to the cops. Taking a chance of them tying me in with it. But I'm not trying it again.
Listen, I know how much this old bat makes in this motel. She must have 10 grand stashed away. We're not taking a chance this time. It's not like before. We don't have to lift Taylor's hat and coat.
I don't see why you just can't find the money.
Don't you think I've tried? Turn this place upside down every day for a month. She's got it hidden too well. But this time, we don't have to find the dough. She's going to take it to the bank. She's going to have it with her. I'll be driving the car. You be waiting where I tell you. I'll fake car trouble and stop. This time, it'll be a cinch.
What's the matter, Henry?
I don't know. Not out of gas.
What's the matter, Henry?
Probably died of old age. I always told you ought to get a new one.
Yes, but new cars cost money.
Yeah, I know. You wouldn't part with a plug nickel if it killed you. Nice going, Wilbur. Now get back to the motel and check out. Where you parked?
Across the field.
Now get on home. I'll get in touch with you in a couple days. Wilbur, you forgot something. And make it look good.
That call just came in. Somebody slugged and robbed Mrs. Carey on the highway.
And Taylor's out on bail?
I know it was Taylor. I saw him with my own eyes. He even showed up at the motel this morning. I had to run him off with a gun. Must have heard me tell my aunt to put her money in the bank, and he followed us.
Miss Carey's still alive. Could be a skull fracture. She's going to be all right. How are you?
I'm all right.
Wouldn't you like to go to emergency with your aunt?
No. Somebody's going to have to look after the motel. That is, if I'm free to go.
Yeah, you're free to go. But only to the motel. Don't go away. We might want to talk to you again.
Talk, huh? That's all you ever do. If you kept your eye on Taylor in the first place, this thing wouldn't have happened.
What do you say we take one more chance?
What do you mean?
On the lie detector. If Taylor's guilty on both counts, we ought to say so, at least this time. I want to see Taylor as soon as possible. Put a pickup on it.
$21.50 headquarters.
A call was put out for Taylor, and within the hour, his pickup was effected. Patrolman Bergen rushed him to headquarters. As before, he willingly submitted to the lie detector. And, as before, it indicated he was innocent.
Just don't get it, Dan. You've always had such good luck with the lie detector. I don't see how it can be so wrong now.
Well, what if it isn't?
Taylor's been identified twice.
But what if the detective's telling the truth? What would that mean to you?
Well, it would mean Mrs. Carey was wrong. It would mean Henry was lying. But he had an alibi for the first time back at the motel. He'd have to have an accomplice.
Let's give the lie detector one more chance. Because if Taylor is innocent, somebody's got to be lying. Now, what about Wilbur Morgan? If Taylor is innocent, where did Morgan get the matches?
Now what do you want?
Been looking for you, Henry. We picked him up.
Had no business letting him out on bail in the first place.
Well, I think that's up to the judge. Oh, by the way, we tried the lie detector test again. Still says he's innocent.
So what? Don't prove nothing.
Well, let's assume that the lie detector is right. Taylor is innocent. Means that somebody's lying. Could be you when you say he slugged and robbed your aunt.
I suppose I slugged myself over the head, too, huh?
Oh, no. There's somebody else mixed up in this, and he's lying, too. A fellow by the name of Wilbur Morgan.
Wilbur Morgan. Now, what's he got to do with this?
Well, he had a book of matches that belonged to Taylor. He said that Taylor gave them to him. I suppose Taylor didn't. That means he found them in the pocket of the coat, which he stole from Taylor to use as a disguise when he beat up your aunt yesterday.
You can't connect me with this. I had an alibi yesterday.
Yesterday, I agree. But today you're on the scene. We checked your register. Morgan is checked out. What would you say if I told you we'd picked him up? Had the money with him, told the whole story.
Can't prove nothing on me.
Henry, would you like to try the lie detector test again? You know how it works now. Maybe it'll say you're innocent. Yeah, put a call out to pick up Morgan. It's essential to have the money on it.
You said you already picked him up.
No, I never said that. I said we checked the register and found out he left.
You'd never trap me without lying.
I didn't trap you, kid. The truth did. Bring him along. Next week's case, handled by the Highway Patrol, is a very exciting one. We hope you'll be with us. Until then, remember, the careless driver isn't driving his car. He's aiming it. This is Bradley Crawford saying see you next week.